My name is Dr. Katie Bonowitz, and I'm the Program Director for all special education license options at Bethel. We are thrilled to have you here. If you are taking part in this presentation, it means you are seeking an additional license from our program. We have the 4 options available at Bethel: Academic Behavioral Strategist, Autism Spectrum Disorders, Developmental Disabilities, and Emotional Behavioral Disorders. Sit back and take part in a few of the tips to help you get started. Whether this is your first time attending Bethel or you've been here for 1 or 2 other licenses, you've been on our hearts and in our prayers. We take very seriously those students who are coming to us, and we want to make sure that we've prepared our program well for you and that you too are prepared to be successful. I want to share these verses from Colossians 1, 9 through 12. Be assured that from the first day we heard of you, we haven't stopped praying for you, asking God to give you wise minds and spirits attuned to His will, and so acquire a thorough understanding of the ways in which God works. We pray that you will live well for the Master, making Him proud of you as you work hard in His orchard. As you learn more and more how God works, you will learn how to do your work. We pray that you'll have the strength to stick it out over the long haul, not the grim strength of gritting your teeth, but the glory strength God gives. It is strength that endures the unendurable and spills over into joy, thanking the Father who makes us strong enough to take part in everything bright and beautiful that He has for us. These verses were taken from The Message. Some important bits and pieces to give you a successful start. Through this presentation, I will be covering all of these components to give you some additional information. You would have also had an online orientation for which you received many additional details. Office of Student Success. This is definitely the most important office for you to be familiar with. Kristen Kashaba is your Student Success Advisor for Special Education, and Kathleen Saprell is our Student Success Manager for all of graduate education. This email address should be a quick link for you in your email box, gs-education@bethel.edu. That email will go directly to someone who will immediately see your needs, and Kristen would be the one taking care of anything related to special education. Some of the things she will do for you is to support you in any of your questions, concerns that you may have about upcoming courses, instructors, Moodle site, ordering books, any of that. Kristen can help you. She is also the person to connect with me directly if you should need it, but it's always best to go to gs-education@bethel.edu before you contact me. At Bethel, you are a part of a cohort. This particular cohort is called LSS. The L simply stands for additional license, the S is for special education, and the other S is simply chronological, that we're now at that point. The next cohort would be LST, for example. Blink is going to have everything you need related to your active registration, your transcript, how you might change your email account. All of that information would have been covered in your online orientation, but here is another link to it. Other important contacts that you may need while you're here would be the business office, financial aid, refund schedule and course withdrawal, Office of Disability Services, and information technology. Again, each of these would have been provided in your online orientation. Other bits and tips that I want you to think about as you go through this short sequence of courses to get your additional license. As you prepare for your additional special ed license in one of the 4 categories, keep in mind you will have additional field hours to complete. These are in addition to the license-specific coursework and usually can be completed on the job. These requirements will vary depending on the license you are seeking. Your enrollment counselor or your student success advisor would have provided a transcript evaluation for you when you were accepted into the additional license track. This evaluation will identify for you which field experience you need to complete. The field experiences are 35 hours in length and span an entire semester. It's up to you when you wish to log those hours, but keep in mind you can typically do it on the job. A 7-week practicum typically takes place during your second semester, and it's up to you if you are ready to do it in the second semester or if you wish to wait a while to complete that. You may be asking yourself some questions. These are the most frequently asked questions that I receive related to additional licenses. I've already been teaching for X amount of years. Do those experiences count? The experiences themselves can be listed when you apply for your license, but they cannot count towards your required coursework because we are a standards-based Board of Teaching approved program. So that means all of our courses are attached to specific license standards at the Board of Teaching, and that is why we cannot count your many years of experience, even if it was in the disability category for which you're seeking. Another question. I completed student teaching in my first license. Do I need to complete it again? For an additional license, you're required to complete a practicum. This is typically shorter than student teaching, but it does have requirements very specific to the license, which is why it's required. Another question. I'm currently teaching at such and such school in a Setting 3 program. May I complete my experiences where I'm working? Yes, as long as you can complete the required elements of the practicum where you are working, you are welcome to complete it on the job. The piece to keep in mind related to that is that if you're seeking an ABS license, for example, and you're in a Setting 4 program, you would not be able to meet the requirements of ABS because it's a mild to moderate setting. I want you to be watching for an email from Dana Jensen. She is our placement coordinator and needs to verify that you will be able to complete the appropriate requirements for your experiences related to the license you are seeking. Her email is dana-jensen@bethel.edu. You may think you don't need to communicate with her because you already are working in a school and you're going to complete things there, but it is her job to keep records for us so that when the state comes to ask us, did so-and-so complete all of the requirements for their license, we can say yes. If you are in an elementary school and the license you are seeking is a K-12 license, you have to get some of your hours at all of the required levels, and there will be a slide showing you a chart related to this. Your field experience can span the entire semester, but again, there are only 35 hours that are required. Again, please refer to your transcript evaluation to determine which field experience you may need to complete. A final practicum is required for every license category. A practicum can be completed in any setting that matches your intended license. Again, all placement requirements of the license have to be met prior to applying for your license. So even if you complete your entire practicum at an elementary school, you still have to have some experience that was at all of the other required levels. Please see the next slide. This form is available on the Special Education Student Resource Moodle site. It is at the top of the site, and you will look for Additional License Field Experience Practicum Form. It's 2 pages on the Moodle site, and it has quite a few more details for you if you wish to print it. You will see here each license category is listed, the level of school that's required for each license, the level of settings required, and the disabilities covered. That final column is simply for you to be in tune to whether or not you need us to help you find a placement. At this point, when people are getting an additional license, most of you are pretty well set, but we are here to place you if needed. ABS license, you will see it's elementary, middle school, high school, settings 1 and 2 with 5 disabilities covered. If you are getting your ABS license as an additional license, it means you already have a license in some category. I would encourage you to focus your experiences on the categories for which you are not currently licensed. ASD, keep in mind, ASD is a birth to 21 license. That means you need some experience at birth to 7, elementary, middle or high school, and transition. You will notice over in the settings level, I have settings 1 or 2 because those would be considered mild to moderate, and settings 3 or 4, which would be moderate to severe. The disability obviously is ASD. For EBD, elementary, middle, high school, settings 1 or 2, and settings 3 or 4. I'm going to say this again, you need some experiences at every level. It does not mean you need 7 weeks at every level. You need some experience at every level. And DD license for our students with DCD, it's elementary, middle, and high school, settings 1 or 2, and settings 3 or 4. Please take note of any questions you have on this and send those questions to gs-education@bethel.edu, and Kristen will connect with me if she's unable to answer your questions. So as you prepare for your first semester, make sure you review your online orientation, especially if you're brand new to Bethel. Keep in mind your Moodle courses will be posted 2 weeks before the first date of class. You will also be in license-specific courses with other candidates who are seeking their initial license in this category. So your classrooms, although there may only be 5 of you who are getting ASD for an add-on license, you might be with 15 people who are getting it as their initial license. Preloading. If you have taken courses at Bethel, you are familiar with preloading, but here's a quick note on what preloading means. The end of the first module is the first date on the calendar, so you really need to be engaged in the content 6 days leading up to that first date. So for example, if your first date is on February 13th, your module would take place from February 7th through the 13th, with all assignments for the first module being due at 11:55 p.m. on the 13th. The next module would begin on the 14th. Your instructors should identify this very clearly in the course. Connect with your student success advisor if you have additional questions. A few other tips about your calendar or your schedule. Your first semester should have 2 license-specific courses plus the field experience, if the field experience is required for you. Your second semester will have 1 license-specific course plus the practicum. You do not have to complete the practicum in that second semester, but you are welcome to. You would organize that with your student success advisor to make sure it's in the correct semester of your plan. Apply for your additional license. Upon successful completion of all license-specific coursework, you may apply for your additional license. You do so by visiting the Special Education Student Resources Moodle site in the License Applications section. You can also email graduate-licensure@bethel.edu for any additional information. Some other resources that I want to point out to you would be the Special Education Student Resource site in Moodle. If you do not have access to that site, please contact your Student Success Advisor at gs-education@bethel.edu, and she will make sure to get you added. There are some helpful tips on that site, such as what you do when you're ready to apply for your license, where to find the upcoming Q&A sessions with me. I offer those multiple times a semester, so if you want to have an opportunity to sit down and chat with me, take note of when those Q&A sessions are offered, and please stop by. I would love to meet you face to face. And finally, Thank you for choosing Bethel. In the field of special education, we feel so honored to partner with you to bring great teachers into our schools. Thank you for making a difference each and every day. God bless you.